The role of a leader is to do that. It's to gather together a sense of vision, purpose and direction and inspire other people to move in that direction. Especially important in schools these days that the culture is inspired by a clear vision of the character and purpose of the school as a whole. For example, there's a lot of disaffection in schools. A lot of young people are leaving schools not well equipped for the lives they're facing. There are major economic challenges that you face here in France, as all countries do. Major cultural challenges, major social challenges, an accelerating technological environment. And these challenges are both particular in France, but they're also global in their character. And education has to be part of that change. It has to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And bringing a new vision to schools is an imperative. And taking a more creative approach to the curriculum, a more creative approach to teaching and learning, a more creative approach to school organisation isn't another problem to solve, it's the solution to the problems that we have. That sometimes leaders think their job is to come up with all the ideas. They have to have all the ideas and then they have to implement them. And there's a tendency behind that to feel that the role of a leader is to command and control everything, to be in charge. And in the area of innovation, the role of a leader isn't to have all the ideas, it's to create a culture where other people have ideas and where you have a climate of possibility. And so from that point of view, the role of a leader isn't command and control, it's climate control. It's creating a culture of possibility. In a school, there are all kinds of possibilities which a leader can make available in the way the school behaves and the way that the culture comes together. A lot of what goes on in schools isn't required in law. It's not a matter of legislation, it's just a matter of habit and routine. Schools work the way they do just because they've always been that way. And what it means is there's a lot of latitude for change, and that's a big part of the book, Changer l'école, that if a leader inspires a school community to see new possibilities, the leader can also make it possible by saying it's okay. And my argument has long been that there is room for change within schools and a great appetite for change, providing people are given permission to make the change. And that means listening to people, giving people opportunities, being prepared to tolerate some failure, trial and error, try things out, see if they work, try and understand what the limits of your tolerance are, what the margin of error might be. But the intention always is to create institutions which are flexible and adaptable. And if we don't have those, then we don't produce children or encourage children to grow in ways that are flexible and adaptable. The fact is that most institutions are naturally resistant to change. It's one of the reasons we have them. They're there to slow the world down a little bit. So the habits aren't all bad. They help people relax and get on with other things. It's like you don't want to think every morning about how you brush your teeth and how you get dressed. You'd never get out of bed if you were to do that. Some things happen automatically so you can get on and think about other things. So breaking habits is often difficult. And every institution, although there are some common characteristics, is nonetheless unique. So I think for a school principal, school director, it's important to take stock of the institution as it is, the habits, the attitudes, the ideas, and to talk properly with people first and get a sense of the appetite for change. I think directors might be surprised often at how much appetite there is for change in their own institution. People often don't talk about it because they think there's no point in talking about it. But in my experience, everybody has some idea about how things could be different or could be improved. I remember a long time ago, I was working at a major cultural institution in America. And I was talking one day to the head of security over lunch. He just happened to be a friend. And he was irritated, clearly, not because he was having lunch with me, but irritated anyway. And I said, what's the matter? And he said, have you heard about this study that's been commissioned? I said, which one? He said, well, the senior management team here has commissioned a firm of consultants from New York to spend several weeks here at the museum to look at ways of improving the experience of visitors. And I said, yes, and what's the problem? He said, well, we have security staff all across this institution, and they spend all day, every day, in the galleries, in the car parks, in the restaurants, answering people's questions, directing them to where they want to go, and helping them get to organise their visit. And he said, there isn't anybody here who knows more about what visitors want than we do. But obviously the senior management team thinks that our job is simply to stop people touching the paintings. And he said it's very annoying and we're not very happy about it. Well, it's a very interesting example to me that people across the whole institution have opinions and views and perspectives on how the institution works. So I think for a school director, the first step is not to just push straight ahead and say, I've got this vision, you'd better follow me. It's to take stock and to start conversations and to let people know the conversation is okay. I've seen schools transformed by principals getting together small groups of teachers, large groups of teachers, talking to the children, bringing parents in, and beginning to give a sense of momentum for changes that would be possible. The thing, of course, is you then have to carry the whole institution with you, and sometimes it's best to start with small changes rather than very big ones. But the first step is an audit of possibilities and a sense of the appetite for change, and then to help shape that into a vision that people can buy into.